Hey guys, it's Spaces Sims, and we are back with more Winter's Wish. Technically continuing Kuga's route, but also starting it because we just hit into his route at the end of the last part, so here we go. Yay! Romancing another robot! I mean, he's technically a robot compared to Tojo. Tojo had some personality, but anyway. Listen, I love men like this. I love them in my games. In real life, maybe not as much, but, you know, unless they're wearing glasses, then maybe I'm into the brick walls. I don't know, whatever. A few months had gone by in the blink of an eye since we solved the Kamakiri case. It was still early summer when I first came to Ito, but now it was an entirely different season, bringing with it more and more chilly days. Oh my god, we can snuggle up against him to keep warm. How adorable. Also, I kind of like this, that like we solved the case, we are just getting to know everyone, and now it's been a couple months, so her kind of sort of falling in love with him kind of makes sense because it's not like, oh my god, we had that case, it's only been 2 days and I'm in love with him. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't mind that either, because like sometimes you see a hot vessel and you're like, I'm into it, but I like that they're like, it's been a few months, and you're like, okay, so feelings would naturally kind of start budding, especially, for someone who's never spoken to people before. So it's going to be a little bit easier probably for her to like, kind of crush on people. But also considering the fact that they're vessels, I don't remember if they said how long it was in Tojo's route, but like, the Labradoodles are kind of easy to fall for, even when they're not your type. Because they're just lovable. Like, I'm not a dog person, but dogs are cute. And you're like, look, they're adorable. And of course I want to pet the happy puppy. And I don't want a dog, but like, when dogs are bounding at you and like coming over and they want some pets on the street, you're like, okay. I mean, like, like if a neighbor's walking a dog. You're like, even if you ripped out my headphones and crushed one of them, it's okay because you're adorable. You know? Again, not a dog person, but dogs are cute. Show me pictures of your dogs all day, especially if they're in sweaters. I'm here for that. Or like little hats or booties or something. Like, okay, stop it. I love that shit. Don't show me pictures of your fucking kids, though, because I'm like, get out. But like your cats, your dogs, your iguana in a hat, I'm okay with that too. You know what I mean? Any animals in costumes, whatever. So like the Labradoodle boys are easy to kind of fall for, but like with Kuga, it makes sense that like it's been a couple months and then she's going to slowly kind of be like, yeah, because you've gotten to know him a little bit more. You've gotten a little more comfortable with him, hopefully, at this point, So, anyway. Hey, sweetie, we got a great catch today. What's getting having for supper tonight? For a hot second, I was like, wait, what? And then I was like, right, everybody knows him and like they probably see us patrolling around together and they're like insinuating stuff because they don't know he's a robot. They've met him before, though, right? Like, they know he's he's very stoic. Oh, looks delicious. I still have other stops to make today, so maybe next time. Goodness, you're on your own again today. I haven't seen you with Kuga much at all lately. I'm much more used to coming here now, so I've been trying to bother my master as little as possible. Oh, so like now we like working for him? That's our ruse? That's a great attitude to have. You gotta knuckle down and work hard now that you get to serve a great samurai like Kuga. I get to serve him? I am not complaining. You should see the stupid ass fucking look on my face. You have it too. Especially if you're a Kuga fan. If you hate him, you're like, eh. But like, if you even, you're like, oh, we're gonna serve him. Right, yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. And service him and all of that shit. Yeah, I'm here for this. Okay. Listen, in reality, if a man's like, you'll serve me, I will kick your fucking ass, get out. But in this instance, in this game, and this man, tell you, because he's not gonna take advantage of it. Like, yeah, I am a willing participant in this servitude, okay? Fine. Will? You might be related, but didn't he go out of his way to hire you? You gotta be head and shoulders above any other girl. Not that you need us to tell you. Oh, God. Wait. You might be related. We're not really, but everybody thinks we are. Good enough for me. You know, the logical part of my brain is like, oh God, everyone thinks we're related. So when we start like macking on each other, they're going to be like, aren't they related? And I'm like, oh my God, actually, are we pretending he's our brother? Because that's fine with me. Oh, are they going to keep bringing that up? Is everyone going to talk about how we're related? Because it's not the turn off you think it is. Obviously, they don't put it in games like this to be a turn off, but I can see where it would be. Because I used to be one of you. I used to be you who are sitting here, oh God, related, ew. Trust me, I was there too. One of these days, age difference will be like, you know what? Hell yeah. Old enough to be your grandpa, sexy. Not feeling that one necessarily. I mean, it depends within reason. It depends. Like, in this situation, an older man, fine. Because, like, the time period. And she's actually a pretty good main character, you know? She's a little naive because she's never left the fucking snowy mountain they forced her to live in. Not her fault. But, like, she picks up shit pretty quick. And she, you know, and for all of her, like, oh my God, little awkwardness, she still has some balls. You know what I mean? So, like, I think she's a good balance. You know, I think there was an instance in in Tojo's route where it was like, all right, I'm going to need you to fucking stop that shit. And she stopped that shit. Was it in this game? I don't really remember, but I feel like that's the only, it would have been like a quick thing. I hate the age difference most of the time because another one's like, oh my God. And they're just, it's like, you're mentally 6. I don't care if you're 18. You act like a 6-year-old. That's where it gets gross. That's even more disgusting. You know what I mean? Like, no, you gotta have a strong, independent, empowered kind of main character who might have some little, you know, naive, goofy moments, fine. But you just can't have, like, I don't understand anything. I was born yesterday. We're the ones to be, actually, that's us right now, because our boyfriends were born, like, a week ago, so, like, whatever. We're the problem now. That's okay. Anyway. You expertly sidestepped my sales pitch, which only proves it. Huh? I didn't mean it like that. Having tight purse strings is a good thing. Besides, maybe someone else around here is selling bigger, more delicious fish. Harsh? At least take a good look at what I got if you're going to say that. I just bought these from the Riverside Fish Market. They're perfect raw or grilled. I just brought these in from the... Okay. Drawn in by his assertive sales pitch, people walking down Main Street and even people who lived behind the shops dropped by to take a look. I can't believe he turned a simple conversation into a sales pitch like that. Well, that's why he's good at his job. I have a different job, but maybe I could learn a thing or two from his drive to produce results in any situation. Right. The thing I really needed to keep in mind here wasn't tightening my purse strings or doing my best as a servant. It was patrolling Castletown to check on the townsfolk, blending in and being careful not to let anyone figure out my true identity as a member of the Oniwaban. This was my second most important duty at the moment, after slaying Blightfall. Since it'd be much too suspicious for a woman who wasn't anyone's wife, daughter, or employee to loiter around town, I introduced myself as Kuga's servant. While working on the Kamakiri case, I assumed I'd end up at Yanagi Brewery, where Yoichi worked, which will probably happen when we go down Yoichi's route. Apparently, there'd been some contention over Kuga patrolling all of Castletown because of how large it was, so they decided to add me to the roster. I haven't done any servant work, though, and I'm still living at the Oniwaban base. I feel like telling people I'm Kuga's servant has helped me fit in way faster than I expected, because he's so popular around here, though. So, like, maybe we should, like, you know, like, move in together or something. Like, you know, I'm just like, saying, like, maybe. Occasionally saying hello to people and talking with them probably also helped forge some of those relationships, I'm sure. Most of the people who talk to me just want to talk about Kuga, though. I mean, I don't blame them. Do you? I just want to talk about him, too. Where is he? Why isn't he here? That's fine for now, but someday I need to be close enough with folks to have deeper conversations. If I didn't, going undercover as a civilian would be completely pointless as someone who wasn't from Samurai Town. Oh my, is that you, Spacey? Oh, Mimi. Well, thinking to myself, I ended up walking in front of the tea stall where Miharu worked. Kuga's not with you today? Kuga! It's like, Marsha. Mimi too. He's such a popular guy. Have you seen him? He's hot, so yeah. Kuga's patrolling in the opposite direction from me. He might pass by here sometime this evening. Goodness, that's not what I wanted to ask you. Huh? Oh, don't worry about me. I got pretty used to fighting while going on patrol with Kuga. She's like, no, I mean, like, why aren't you dating yet? I'd undergone a lot of training since then. I'd progressed so much I was now able to defeat a regular Blightfall on my own now. Like, I kind of dig this arc. Like the Castletown arc where she's like here and like she can actually fight. You know? I'm not saying that if there's anything wrong, like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with like her not being able to fight in Tojo's route or whatever because it gave him something, like, she still had her own agency in that route. You know what I mean? She was still useful. It wasn't like, oh my god, I'm a damsel in distress. But I just like that they're not always going to have her be like, oh, I'm just here to check for emotional imprints and that's it. Now she can actually kick ass. Like, that's kind of cool. I like it. Although I wasn't able to kill them in a single blow like everyone else could, they now considered me part of the Oniwaban's arsenal, Brain. We're patrolling separately like this because they all know I'm capable. Well, it's great, but it's also not what I'm worried about. Yeah, I'm talking about, you know... do? Wait, what? We're patrolling because they all know I'm capable. That's not what I'm talking about, worried about. I'm talking about, you know, and then do? Oh, okay. I was like, don't? I get it now. I'm not very fucking smart today. My brain, okay, it's lunchtime when I'm recording this over work. And just in the few hours of where I've done so much fucking shit and my brain is fried. It's only been a couple of hours. 5 minutes into my day, I was like, I quit. I'm over this. I get it. I'm talking about, you know. And then she's like, I do? Like, I know what you're talking about? See, okay. All right. I get it. In case anybody else was stupid like me. Meaning, what exactly? It was just the flow of the conversation. I was like, did I miss a line? Let's go. Okay. I'm not all brain today, so you'll have to bear with me. You haven't done any servant stuff since you started working for Kuga, have you? You could, no, I don't know, cook him meals or do some sewing? All kinds of things. She's like, you could cook him meals, sew, make him a martini, maybe have sex with him or something. I don't know, clean up or something. And you're like, I'm sorry, go back? Make him a martini? You're like, no, what did you say? Jesus. That's what she's thinking. She's like, you know, cook and make yourself look like a housewife, so he wants to marry you? Huh? I was wondering what on earth she was talking about. Miharu seemed to be fretting that I was doing an incredibly poor job, but I was utterly confused. Mimi, didn't I explain this to you earlier? I work for Lord Yoshimune as a member of the Oniwaban. I spoke in a hushed voice just in case, giving her the same explanation about my situation as before. Also, how fucking bullshit... Miharu, somebody slap this girl. How bullshit is it that you think that on top of patrolling all day and doing Oniwaban shit, so i.e. my 9-to-5 day job, I'm gonna go home and then cook and clean and serve a man who isn't doing any of that shit for himself? What the fuck patriarchal bullshit is that, Mimi? Girl! I'm gonna need you to put on your feminism panties, alright? Stop that shit. If we were actually a servant and that was our only job, but it's one thing that, like, this is the, like, well, I worked hard all day, I shouldn't have to do anything. And, like, your wife, who also works 9 to 5, and then comes home and has to take care of you and your kids and the house and cooking and all that, that's not enough because I mow the lawn once a week. Fuck you and your bullshit. You know what I mean? Equal division of labor. Equal division of labor. I'm doing just as much. Well, I mean, okay, Kuga's probably doing more when we have to fight a blight fault, sure. But, like, it's not like he's doing it all and I'm doing nothing. I'm still patrolling too. This is my job. Although maybe making him a nice meal every once in a while would be fine because he just really only knows. He makes fabulous rice balls. So he's in charge of making those. We could probably make something else. We could divide the cooking. I'm not saying we can never cook for him. I'm just saying it's a little ridiculous that she thinks I'm going to do Oniwaban patrols and be a full-time servant. Girl, I ain't getting 4 full-time fucking jobs. Bullshit. I'm doing 4 full-time fucking jobs right now at my job. Okay, not really. It's like 2. And it's killing me. It's been 2 goddamn days. My body hurts, okay? And I don't even have a physical labor job. But my whole body hurts. Hunching over a computer is not good for my back. Anyway. I'm Kuga's servant only in name only. It's just a cover so I can carry out my duties. I know that, but being the servant of a samurai is the quickest shortcut to marrying rich. Alright, I won't begrudge you for thinking like that. Huh? Sometimes the lords you attend to fall in love with you at first sight. Other times it's their friends or relatives who take a shine to you. I love how she is trying to basically marry us to Kuga. I'm into it. So, I mean, okay, all right, I get it. You know, maybe if you cooked, like, a nice meal or did, like, a little something, then... But, like... If not, you'll still learn samurai etiquette. And when you marry and quit your job, you might receive expensive kimonos and a dowry. Truthfully, you can't get promoted into a job like this without knowing how to sing or play the shamisen. It's a waste not to take advantage of this opportunity. She is like, girl, think about your marriage market potential. What if I want to be an independent woman without a man? Not the point of this game, so never mind. Doesn't make any sense. You know what? We'll listen to Mimi. You know what, Mimi? Put down the feminism. Put on your patriarchy panties. You know what? Just kidding. I'm kidding. No, it's like, you know what? You're like, girl, I am not, you know what? Maybe in that case, I should do multiple jobs just to score myself a hot husband. Yeah, and some fancy kimono. You know what? You're right. Never mind. You know, just not a bad idea. Meaning what exactly? You mean work hard so I can marry into Kuga's family? Not quite. But if you married Kuga, I wouldn't worry about you at... Well, wait just a moment. I wasn't considering getting married yet in the first place. I don't get the marrying into wealth part either. You don't? Like, she's gonna be like, I want to marry someone I love. Yeah, but it would be nice if you loved someone and they happen to have money. Nobody can deny that. Like, it's never, if you fall in love with someone and they're like, I'm a millionaire, you're never like, oh, I'm so fucking disappointed. You're never disappointed about that. I mean, I'm sure there's like a few people that are, but they're weird. Having money is never going to be disappointing. You know what I mean? Like, hey, here's a bonus just because you're awesome. Ah, man, damn it. I didn't want money. What am I going to do with this? You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure if somebody was just like, here's $50,000, you'd be like, fuck yeah, that's nice. Holy shit. Hell, if someone gave me $5, I'd be fucking ecstatic. When I find $1 in my wallet, I'm like really fucking happy about it. Okay? Like, you know, I'm just saying. So like, falling in love with someone and then finding out they have money, never gonna be a bad thing. Really? I figured you became a servant to a samurai with your future in mind. Weren't you talking about working at Yanagi Brewery with Yoichi originally? Things still weren't set in stone back then. Also, I used to have to keep my job a secret from you. I'd really appreciate it if you keep this to yourself. I see, but I'm glad. I'm sure working at Yanagi would have been excellent wife training, but you're the envy of every girl in town serving as samurai. And one as hot as Kuga. Wait for her to say it. Chirp, chirp! Kamame had been hiding in my kimono, but had stuck her head out at some point. She happily chirped in agreement. I mean, this is my life, walking around like a cool town. Yeah, sure, I'm patrolling and stuff, but like got my bird with me, and a hot man who's gonna fall in love with me. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. I have the bird. He's sitting on my chest under my chin, basically dead. I'm pretty sure he's breathing. He was moving for a minute, but he is like not moving. He's just totally asleep. Oh, he just twitched. You're fine. I know. Okay, thank you. I have to make sure you're not dead because you don't move. But then sometimes you do move and you're very fidgety. And then I'm like, God damn it, bird, simmer down. Hi. Now you're awake because we're talking about you? He's like, you're talking about me. I know you're talking about me. All right, I'm sorry. Go back. Go back and get snugs. Go back and get snuggies where you were. Your toes weren't bugging me for a hot second. I just need the hot man. Who's just and also a rich one so I don't have to work anymore. I'm just saying. So. Don't buy my headset. Did you see the birdie on the screen? You're supposed to do her voice lines. It's okay. It's okay if you do have girly bird voice. You could be a girly bird for all we know. We don't know. No, don't bite the microphone. You're supposed to go, chirp, chirp. You try it. Chirp, chirp. No? Seriously? You're really bad at this. How are you ever going to get a job as a bird voice actor if you don't know how to chirp when you're told to chirp? I swear to God. You gotta learn to pull your weight around here. You cost money, You don't clean. You just make a mess. You don't even clean up your messes. I have to clean up your messes. I give you room and board, and you don't even earn your keep. He's like, yes, I do. I'm fucking cute. I know. You do. You earn your keep and your cuteness. I tease you. You don't have to get a job. Your job is to be my emotional support animal. You are here for when I am sad, and you are like, don't cry and be sad, Mommy. I take care of you. And you do. You do. You're so cute and precious, and I love you. Yes, I do. Oh, except for when you're making the ugly screaming noise, and then I want to rip your feathers out. Everybody thinks I'm mean to you, because I yell at you sometimes, and I tell you to shut your fucking face. Because sometimes you're a big fat fucking asshole. But now you're being cute. I'm Fluffy. I heard you peep. Talking. I'm going to poke you until you... You won't make a noise until I'm, like, talking. You think so, too, don't you, Kamame? Girls think alike. Chirp! Does Kamame really think that? I had a weird feeling about all of this. Yes, that's right. You made the chirpy noise. You got to make it louder into the microphone next time. But good try. It was a few minutes late. I mean, I get what you're saying, Mimi. I hope I'll get to be with the one I love someday. But being able to carry out my current duties means a lot to me, so I haven't given the future much thought. Oh, I know. It's not a job you could do if your heart wasn't completely in it. Still, as your big sister, I want you to be happy. I know your job means a lot to you, Spacey, but you shouldn't sacrifice everything for it. I guess not. Exactly. What's so bad about preparing for your future a little bit while working hard? Not a bad sentiment, like prepping for your future while working hard. You know what I mean? Like, don't like, okay, I'll think about my future later. Because then later, all of a sudden, it's like, oh shit. To be fair, your future is never going to come because it's always the present. It's never the past or the future. It's always the present. It's trippy. But you know what I mean? Besides, haven't there been fewer Blightfall sightings since the Kamakiri case? Gah. She wasn't wrong. Blightfall sightings had fallen drastically recently. That didn't mean Black Threads, that is emotional imprints, had disappeared from around town, though. Blightfall spawned spontaneously every few days. However, the Blightfall that spawned were shockingly helpless. They were so easily dispatched, it was hard to believe the trouble the Kamakiri had put us through. Oh, they're leading up, don't worry. Is that why they let me go on patrol by myself so soon? If this peace lasts forever, they might rethink how they treat you. How they treat me? Mm-hmm. They originally summoned you here because they were short-handed, right? If there's fewer Blightfall around, they won't need your help anymore. I'm sure you were prepared for that to happen much later on, but that day might come sooner than you expected. Oh my god, now you're gonna make me stress. Mimi, I see. She's not just worried about my job in the Oniwaban. She's worried about what'll happen to me after I leave. Like I said earlier, right now my mind was preoccupied with carrying out the role I'd been given. Now with the Blightfall situation beginning to change, maybe I actually did need to think about what would happen once I left the Oniwaban. Also, I mean, okay, so like, yeah, we got a little trigger happy with me. I did, okay. With Mimi being like, you should just learn how to be a servant. Excuse me, bitch? Like, I'm not already doing a job? And it's like, no, but actually, wait, let her cook. Okay. I should have waited till she was done. Okay, because like, now when she's bringing up this point, she's going to put that thought into our head that like, oh my god, wait. So now I'm like, is that where the route's going to go? Like, we're going to be like, listen, yeah, I'm going to patrol, but I still want to do this because what happens if, you don't need me anymore or there's not a lot of Blightfall, then I got to take care of myself. I don't want to go back and live in the mountains and the woods. You know what I mean? And this will help me in the future. So then you're going to act as like learn servant kind of duties and do all that for Kuga. And that's how we're going to end up spending more time with him like that. And then, we're going to have a master servant relationship. Oh, it's going to be hot. Okay. All right. I might be able to see what you're cooking, game. And all right, I'm into it. If you're interested, I can ask the owner here if he'd be able to hire you. Still, that would be such a waste. With experience serving a shogunate retainer, you deserve much better than working at a regular old tea stall. And the tea owner's like, hey! Besides, you're cute, Spacey. I'm sure you'll receive some incredible marriage proposals. Oh, and if Kuga actually did fall for you at first sight, we've seen each other a lot over the last few months, so he's not going to fall in love with me at first sight, to be fair. Mimi, absolutely not. Well, never say never. Kuga doesn't have a mistress of his own. It's true, but that's exactly my point. Huh? No way that'll happen. He's a vessel after all, and obviously Mimi doesn't know that. I felt a little bad that she was getting so excited over this, but it was hard to describe how I felt about it. Also, then she's like, he doesn't have a mistress, and you're like, ugh. I mean, that's good, but then the thought of him having a mistress makes me sad. Hey, why the long face? Kuga not your type. Maybe you prefer Yoichi like Komame here. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Just hearing Yoichi's name come up makes Komame happy. I love the fact that our bird is fangirling over our boyfriend. One of them. That's not it. I really don't understand this stuff. I guess I did get pretty nervous when Kuga held my hand at the festival a little while ago. I was just bewildered by the unfamiliar contact is all. It didn't feel like love to me. Oh yeah? In that case, you should get to know him better. That's essential to your role in the Oniwaban, isn't it? Well, yes, I think so. I don't think marriage is the only way a woman can be happy. I just couldn't help but suggest it because I can't think of many better samurai to marry than Kuga. A woman could totally be happy just being a mistress to multiple men and not getting married to any of them and having a man harem of her own. Absolutely. Wow. Can't believe the game put that in there. Obviously it didn't in case you weren't paying attention. You guys know me by now. There's going to be that split second where someone's like, wait, what? No, that was just you fucking with us. I'd say April Fools because it is April 1st when I'm recording this, but but that's how we roll here. So yes, we don't marry any of the boys in the man harem unless we marry all of them. That's a lot of paperwork. We just keep our man harem. Just as Spacey and Miharu were happily gossiping amongst themselves, Genjiro, the topic of their discussion, let out a huge sneeze. When he sneezed, I'm like, is that like because the old wives' tale? Like when people are talking about you, you sneeze? Isn't it supposed to be your ears ring? I guess there's multiple different ones. Do I have a cold? Although a bit puzzled, Genjiro stepped into a narrow alleyway to continue patrolling. Found you! He had no idea a pair of glowering eyes were glaring at him from behind. Glowering eyes were glaring. Found you. Was Yoichi the glowering eyes? And so I report for the day. Spacey, could you please? Sure, I saw emotional imprints, but not very many. I saw no indications that Blightfall might spawn from them. According to the townsfolk, a fight broke out between some customers at the Draper, but it was settled almost immediately. I mediated the fight at the Draper. Aside from that, no problems on my end either. Huh. You mean the two of you spent the entire day walking around town? Been way too peaceful around here lately. You sound like that's a bad thing. It really has. Like Yuichi said, it had been one surprisingly peaceful day after another. That's what you want, though. That's the dream. Since Miyaji was absent today, the Castletown crew had gathered at Yanagi Brewery to give our daily reports instead of at the Oniwaban base. That explains why the background's different. Okay. I've been trying my best not to miss anything and to talk to the townsfolk frequently. And don't worry, Spacey. Yuichi isn't accusing you of doing a poor job. Haven't seen any Blightfall crop up. Not like what you've both seen out on patrol. And what about you? Have you heard anything interesting? Rumors, yeah. And the idiot son of a daimyo having a fling with one of the servant girls. A Ronin who came to Edo to settle a grudge. A grudge? Vengeance again? A fling, huh? Well, that's no good. Although it's honestly nothing I haven't heard before. Flings and revenge were both shocking topics that had never even crossed my mind back when I lived in the village, but they were common occurrences in Edo. Mimi said every girl in town aspires to serve a samurai, but hearing about this kind of makes me wonder. They want to serve a samurai so they can service him. You know what I'm saying? They're going to sheath his sword. I mean, okay, you get it. Kuga wouldn't do anything weird like that, but I'm sure that's why she told me to do my best. What now? None of it sounds like a big deal to me. Should we call it quits for the day? No. Blightfall might actually spawn from quarrels like these. We should do a little digging just in case. Gotcha. Can I let you guys handle it then? Breweries are pretty slammed around this time of year since it's brewing season. Understood. Focus on your job as head clerk. Thanks. Well, let's go, Spacey. Okay. Which was how Kuga and I ended up going into town together for the first time in a while. Yay, we're on a non-date date! Yay, non-date time! Oh, would you look at what it is? You two shopping for dinner together? I walked around town with Kuga in the glow of the sunset. It didn't take long before a talkative man from a renowned employment agency reached out to us. Employment agency, those in the business of helping people find servants or otherwise recommending capable people for hire. That's a good sign. We were, actually. By the way, I heard something troubling. Andy went into the wrong house where a geisha was dancing, and that geisha was Taiyu Okuni. Taiyu Okuni. Apparently he flipped her likeness over when he saw it from behind. Poor bloke was banned from entering brothels after that. Flipped her likeness to like a portrait? Likeness, a painting of someone. Okay. That was a funny story, but we were wondering about a servant girl who was courted by a daimyo retainer. Huh? Well, I already told you everything. She was a strong-willed girl, so she took the severance money and threw a huge party with the man she fancied all along. Girl getting her Okay, alright. The young man probably had more money than he could ever spend, so it was no skin off his nose. A happy ending for everyone involved. Peace. So much peace, it was almost putting me to sleep. Well, nothing beats peace for the townspeople. In the end, the affair had already been sorted out, like the man from the employment agency had said. We asked him if he knew about someone trying to get revenge on anyone else in town, but he said he didn't. Yeah, because that's Tojo's problem. Maybe it was just a rumor someone embellished a little bit.
And there's also the distinct possibility they were just talking about a Ronin with a grudge who came to Ito in the past.
I see. Oh, well, even one person who needs to get revenge on someone is one person too many.
Indeed.
I only learned this after coming to Ito myself, but a samurai's duty of vengeance was an extremely difficult thing to carry out. Having their loved one murdered must have been hard enough, but they weren't deemed a full-fledged samurai until they exacted revenge for it. This seems like a lot of odd things to check off. You know, like, all right, in order to get this job, well, you've got to have someone that you love murdered, and then you have to go on a revenge spree. Nobody you know has been murdered, and you haven't, well, then you can't be a samurai. They had no choice but to leave their hometowns behind, disguise themselves as Ronin, and journey until they killed their foe, despite not knowing where to find them.
Spacey.
Yes?
Did I make you walk too much today? I could see it on your face that you're tired. Maybe we should wrap up soon.
Oh, no, that's not why I'm... Thinking about revenge soured my mood. Not that Kuga would understand, even if I told him. I've got it. Now's my chance. I was just wondering, what will happen to me if life continues to be this way?
This way?
Yes, like, how peaceful it's been and how weak all the Blightfall are. I was talking to Mimi earlier. I was summoned here because of the relentless battle against the Blightfall. You guys might not need me once things are calmer.
Not a chance. Your powers are one of a kind.
How sweet.
The Blightfall might be tamed now, but we have no idea how long this will last. We'd probably keep you here in Ito on the off chance something does happen. But if the peace does last and the Blightfall subside to the point that we don't even need to patrol anymore, you might be able to live life as a normal citizen instead of an Oniwabon, aside from emergencies.
Really?
Yes. It depends on what Lord Yoshimune thinks, but I'm sure he'd understand if that's what you wanted. Were you asking because you wish to be a civilian? Would you like to go back to your hometown?
It's not that. Although I'd love to go back from time to time to visit my father's grave, I've come to enjoy living in Ito. But if I could live a normal life, I'd like to be your servant, Kuga. Kuga looked at me curiously when I declared this.
My servant? But you already are.
That's just for carrying out my Oniwabon duties. I mean that I'd like to be your actual servant. Mimi said serving a samurai is great work experience. It'll come in handy in tons of different ways, whether I choose to get married or find a different profession.
Handy, you say? Well, that may very well be.
I don't have any way of saving up money, so I'm sorry if it's a bother to you, but I'd like to build up that experience serving under you, Kuga.
Oh yeah, I'd like to serve under him too.
Anyway. I mean, I wasn't going to let that one slide, guys.
I don't particularly mind one way or another. You know about the Oniwabon. I don't need to hide my job from you like I would around a normal servant. Don't get any strange ideas about life. Don't get any strange ideas about life once there are fewer Blightfalls around, though.
Huh? But there weren't many of them before, right? At this rate, it's not completely impossible that things might go back to the way they used to be. What would you like to do if that ever happens and Lord Yoshimune says you're free to live however you want?
He's like, what?
When I asked this question, Kuga was uncharacteristically silent. Maybe he's not sure what he wants to do. I figured he'd want to continue being a castle watchman. I thought to myself rather breezily, meanwhile... He's still just clueless. The silence continued even longer. I started worrying that I'd said something strange. You're like, do I need to reset you? Do I have to unplug you, plug you back in? What the hell's happening? I figured he might be mad or something. But he's not even capable of feeling that way in the first place. No, he's probably just very confused because he's never thought about it. You know what I mean? And no one's ever asked him this question. This is his job. This is his duty. This is his responsibility. It's why he was born. And then it's like, what would you like to do? And he's like, wait, what? Huh? It's not computing. He's keeping quiet because I asked a difficult question, isn't he? In which case, it didn't matter if he was mad. Apologizing and changing the subject was probably the best move here. I'm sorry, I asked you a weird question, didn't I?
It wasn't weird, per se. Apologies, but I didn't quite understand what you meant.
What?
We vessels are beings created to slay Blightfall, and there's no other way of life for us. If there are fewer Blightfall, we have fewer opportunities to work. If Blightfall disappeared from the world, we'd simply be sealed away or disposed of.
Oh. Yeah, no one's ever asked him that question because he's like, there is nothing, we're done. I gasped in spite of myself. Kuga's voice and gaze were both so gentle, it sounded like he was just talking about the weather, a complete mismatch for the appalling things he just said, which we know they're not going to do because they didn't do it to everybody in Tojo's route. You know, it was like, you guys can continue with there's less Blightfall, and then like Otaro went off on his own and like, you know, whatever. At the same time, there was no emotion behind his words either. It makes sense for him to think that since he's a vessel, but like a tool? You're okay with that? I mean, like a tool. We already know that vessels are tools, so like a tool doesn't seem like the right answer because it's like, what? Like you have no emotions? Yes, we already know that. So I feel like that's just reiterating what we know. So I feel like you're okay with that is more personal. Yeah. You're okay with that, Kuga?
Hmm?
Being disposed of because you no longer serve a purpose? That would make me so sad. Especially when you worked so hard to fight Blightfall up until that point. He went silent again. Kuga didn't seem to understand what I just said. Then maybe I should explain a little bit more. Don't you want a reward?
Reward?
Yeah, if you don't want anything, then you could at least get a few words of thanks from Lord Yoshimune, or maybe a head pat? Oh, look at the look on his face, he's like, huh? You know what? We're gonna do something good later, and he's gonna remember this, and he's gonna pat us on the head and be like, what? That's a reward, like a head pat, right? Like, oh, it's gonna be adorable. All I managed to do was confuse him even more. I love the fact that he is like, does not compute. I stressed out over how to convey my thoughts.
I'm not sure I understand what you're trying to say, but... No, we were born to slay Blightfall, meaning the best course of action would be for us to disappear along with them.
But it didn't seem like my reasoning had made it through to Kuga at all. I refused to accept that being thrown away is the best option, not just for Kuga, but for all of the vessels, or anyone in general. We were only talking about what-ifs, idle chit-chat that had nothing to do with our jobs. I probably could have left it at that, but I couldn't stand the thought of letting the discussion end there without Kuga understanding how I felt. I heard that in the past, any vessel who regained their hearts and memories was disposed of. That rule only exists to keep vessels from having their minds corrupted by Blightfall and becoming the enemy themselves. I mean, again, that's still one of those, like, really, like, that's kind of fucked up. I get it, because, like, a human can be corrupted by Blightfall and become Blightfall. And, like, you're just a normal person living out your life, like, whatever. But if your job, your only reason for existing is to fight Blightfall and you are susceptible to it, that would be bad. You know what I mean? And yes, in modern society, you're like, well, human beings that are fighting disease are susceptible to disease, like doctors and scientists and stuff. You know what I mean? But, like, this is more like sci-fi kind of future, like you'd watch in a movie where, like, oh, I'm a robot, so I'm immune to, like, human diseases, and that, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what it's a past time period, but they're using some kind of sci-fi elements where it's like you are a being that is immune to being Blightfall because your heart's sealed so you can never become Blightfall. So if you turn human, you're susceptible, you're no longer useful as the tool that you are. Which then goes into, but now you're treating these beings like they are just objects. And like, you have a spoon that then breaks. You can no longer use it, you get rid of it. This is a being. It's alive. And you're just chucking it aside. It's like, oh, we had a baby, so I'm just gonna chuck my cat out on the street, dump it on a street corner. What the fuck? It's that kind of shit. Like, just because they came from a non-sentient object doesn't mean they're not living beings anymore. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? But if that weren't a concern, what would it matter if you or any of the other vessels lived however you wanted?
However we wanted?
I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, to her point, like, if there's no more Blightfall, why dispose of you? Why not just be like, oh, okay. Well, now you're free. Go do what you want. Because especially if you still have your hearts and everything sealed, if Blightfall ever showed up again, then you don't have to create new vessels. You bring these old ones back. Yes. Isn't there anything you'd want to do? Like take a trip outside of Edo or experience what it's like to have a different occupation or class? Get married, fall in love with me? Look at his little sad face. Oh, we made him so sad. Kuga went silent again. As the silence stretched on, I began to feel guilty. I had good intentions bringing it up, but maybe I'm just annoying him. No, he's just sad because look, I can't believe he's making a sad face. From any vessel's perspective, disappearing with the Blightfall was leaps and bounds better than worrying like this. Maybe I was just forcing my human ways of thinking onto him. It's hard not to, though, because you think of him as a human, and, like... I mean, I can kind of understand where, like, forcing your human beliefs and ways of thinking onto something that's not human could be problematic. You know what I mean? It's like forcing your American way of thinking or your ideals onto another culture or something. It could be problematic and vice versa. But like, at the essence of what she's doing is treating another living being like a living being that deserves to be respected as a living being. And everybody else is like, okay, we don't need him anymore. Chuck him in the trash. And she's like, that's not cool. So, like, what she's doing is not really problematic. But depending on the situation, depending on the context, pushing your own ways of thinking onto somebody else could be problematic. In this case, it's definitely not one of those situations. You know what I mean? I mean, forcing him, like, you should think like a human. It's like, no, but she's trying to understand his perspective, but also the point she's at is, it's cruel to just treat vessels like they're just tools and we're going to throw them out when they're no longer of use to us. Because he's a living being. Because she's seeing him as a living being, not we saw Tojo as a human being, even though he wasn't. He's a vessel. But we see him and treat him like a human being versus, oh, he's just a tobacco pouch. You know what I mean? Like a functional object. He's not a functional object, he's a person. Even if he came from a functional object. You know what I mean? So, like, her thought process is not entirely wrong.
I've never thought about it before.
He said this after a long silence.
Since we lack hearts and memories, our thoughts and ideas are also limited in some ways. And talking to you is always a surprise. And nobody who knows I'm a vessel has ever asked me questions like this.
Oh. He looked a tiny bit amused as he said this. Yeah, look at him. Look at his happy face. He's adorable. Although, maybe it just felt that way to me. Since I was human and all.
Right. We might not have either of those things, but we're all different in our own way.
In your own way?
Yes. Yuichi and I are different. Tominari and Kunitaka, Kinji and Otaro, and Kyoshiro are all different from each other as well.
Kyoshiro and you are very similar, though, in your very, strict straightforwardness. Although you looked a little sad, you looked a little, concerned, you had a little bit of a smile. You have minor emotions. I don't think Kyoshiro's face ever fucking changed. Ever. I don't think it ever changed.
Yoichi enjoys eating. Other vessels who worked for the Oniwaban in the past have had human-like hobbies too.
Tojo smokes.
We understand why, but if we were ordered to live however we wanted, some of us could probably immediately think of things to do. Nothing's coming to mind for me.
Aww! We've got to teach the robot how to live and love. Is that right? I can tell Yoichi loves to eat, but I have no idea what Kuga likes, even though I've spent a lot of time around him. Does that mean he has no likes or hobbies? I guess it makes sense that he wouldn't know what to do if someone told him to do whatever he wanted then. Now that his response made sense to me, I felt a little relieved. He didn't want to be thrown away as soon as Blightfall ceased to exist. He just never thought of what would happen to him after the Blightfall were all gone. He's a lot like I was before talking to Mimi. I was only thinking of the tasks at hand. Maybe you should give it some thought, Kuga. Finding what you want to do might make you even more motivated to work hard, slay Blightfall, and bring world peace.
I don't think I need to, but I understand what you mean. If you say so, I'll give it some thought.
By all means. Although, like you said, Kuga's plenty motivated without having to think about this kind of stuff. Is it just me, or would this have been a little more effective on Yoichi? I kept walking while thinking this to myself.
Spacey.
Kuga suddenly grabbed my arm and pulled me towards him. Oh. This bridged the gap between us all at once. Sir, I know you're not getting romantic with me, but, I'm just gonna bask in it for a hot second. Yep, he was now embracing me from the front. What happened?
Quiet. Someone's been tailing us for a little while.
Oh, is that the person? I found you. I thought they were talking to him, but they were just whispering. Okay. Huh? After Kuga's warning, I immediately concentrated on what was behind me. Thanks to all the patrolling I'd done as a member of the Oniwaban, I'd become much more alert to the presence of suspicious people compared to before I came to Ito.
They seem quite skilled. I didn't notice them right away.
I mean, I knew he wasn't, pulling me in for an embrace just for the fun of it, but still it was like, oh, I'm going to enjoy this. And he's like, shh, someone's behind you. Damn it. What do we do?
There's only one of them. They might be skilled, but I don't think they'd be able to fend us off in a 2-on-1 battle.
Look at that. You're including me in a battle. You know what? I love that you have faith in me like this.
Let's lure them somewhere no one else can see and ask them why. There's probably a reason they're doing this.
Got it. After solidifying our plans, Kuga and I continued talking just like before while stepping away from Main Street. All right, we might find out what's going on. It might go a little over time, but I started recording a little early, so it's okay. Just when we'd made our way down an alley. No one will see us here, probably. I glanced over at Kuga, who also realized this was the perfect moment. He turned around and spoke to whomever was there.
Hey, you!
Oh, there was a quick shadow. It seemed to be a man, and a samurai at that. The silhouette of a man wearing a sword appeared where, just a split second before, he'd been hiding in the shadows. He didn't try to run away. He was staring at us, holding his breath. Okay.
I don't know who you are, but speak up if you have business with us. Come on out. What's wrong? If you won't come out, I'll come to you.
Tch. After tutting sharply, someone jumped out of the shadows. Huh? A boy? Aww. He's kind of adorable. So, Mitsu was the Tenichibo. right? And this kid's gonna be the Chie. He's gonna be somehow involved in the thing, but like probably an innocent character. You know what I mean? Because everyone seems to have one, so he's the Chie. Okay. He seemed to be about my age, or a tiny bit younger. My eyes had correctly spotted the sword at his hip, though. He appeared to be a samurai, but his kimono was a little tattered and showed signs of hardship. Oh, wait, does he think Genjiro killed someone? Is this his revenge story? Because we brought that up, like the samurai revenge story thing, so... And he's a form folk. Okay. I caught a glimpse of a wooden tag dangling from his neck beneath his collar. Oh, okay, that's what you can see, because like on his necklace, it's like hiding just underneath the flaps of his kimono. Hanzo. I am Hanzo Ishii, the fourth of the Uemon Ishii brothers, and you're Gen Goemon Akahori. Okay. Gen Goemon Akahori. That's a name, aren't you? After calling Kuga a name I'd never heard before, the boy named Hanzo quickly unsheathed his sword. Huh? Yeah. This is for my father and older brothers. You know the drill. Fight me. Aw. He's adorable. Kuga! Hanzo was quick to slash at him with his sword, but so was Kuga. He stepped forward and engaged him. Die! Die! Hanzo was the dictionary definition of the word reckless, desperately swinging his sword at Kuga. Well, 'cause he just learning. Kuga coolly fended off his attacks. It was evident who was more powerful here. I mean, it's gonna be our hot boyfriend. Because of this, I wasn't terribly upset watching everything go down, but still... please calm down and listen to what we have to say. We don't know... Akahori, was it? His name is Genjiro Kuga. You have the wrong person. Shut up! He's probably just hiding his identity. This man killed my father and brothers. I'll never let him live it down. You're like, and when was this? He's like, 5 years ago. And Kuga's like, I was born like 2 months ago. It's been more longer than that, obviously, because it's been a few months since we've been here, but still, you know what I mean. Is this who Yuichi meant when he mentioned a wandering Ronin out for revenge? It's awful that his father and brothers were murdered, but he's adorable. We're gonna have to. Are we adapting this sassy lost child? I mean, I know he's like my age, but still. Kuga, we have a son now. Like, Kuga, I'm only asking just in case, but does the name Akahori ring any bells?
No, and I have no recollection of laying a hand on your father and brothers either, of course.
Although Kuga has no memories. And it wouldn't be... like... Kuga's owner... who, you know what I mean? Whatever. Because, like, Tojo was a tobacco pouch and had an owner, right? But it wouldn't be that because, like, why would Genjiro look like the owner of whoever, you know? Oh, or the kid's going to be like, I recognize this something or other on you. And he's going to be like, oh, that's the object I was born from that belonged to maybe Kuga's owner, whoever owned the object that, you know what I mean? That could be it. Damn you! You fiend! You've upended my family! Knew my entire life! And you don't remember a damn thing? Ooh, he's got a mask. Is he turning into Blightfall now? Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. There's so many black threads and...
Spacey, he has a mask.
Yeah, he's spewing an incredible amount of black threads from all over his body. He's a pretty powerful Blightfall. What are you mumbling about? If you're gonna stand in my way, woman, I'll kill you too. Our sassy lost child is not adorable anymore. We're gonna have to kill our sassy lost child. It's okay. We'll free him and he'll be better at the end.
Spacey!
I'll be fine! It's been a while since we fought a strong Blightfall, but the humankind only have 2 limbs. It won't be hard to see his attacks coming. I love that. See, this is why we were trained. This is cool. I like this. I pulled my knife out of my pocket, then Kuga and I surrounded Hanzo. Black threads poured from his body onto the ground in the meantime, where they formed pools of emotional imprints. Ah! Asking a woman to assist you? What a despicable, disgusting man you are. Doesn't matter if you have me outnumbered. Prepare to die, Gengoemon Akahore. Gengoemon Akahore. Or rather, prepare for me to kill you. Gengoemon is really fucking hard to say. What? But all he did just now was swing his sword. It reminded me of a Kamaitachi? A yokai that rode whirlwinds, slicing people with their claws. Okay. Formless blades protruded from Hanzo's sword, leaving deep cuts in the walls of a seemingly sturdy warehouse behind Kuga. If Kuga hadn't leaned forward, his face might have been cut instead. Not his beautiful face! It's okay, he'll be hot with the scar. Is this one of Hanzo's abilities as a Blightfall? I felt a chill run down my spine. If we let him get away with this attack, it didn't matter if we stayed a sword's length away. How do you even block an attack like that with a sword? Yeah, how'd you like that? How about I kill you with another one of those? Our demented, sassy lost child. You're a dead man, Gengoemon! You'll pay for what you've done! Kuga seemed to be on guard, waiting for Hanzo's next attack after the slash he unleashed earlier. However, but if we beat him here and destroy his mask, right, then he'll be free, and then somebody else could be puppeteering him. Huh. Apparently the Kamaitachi-like blade burst had been a one-time thing. No matter how many times Hanzo uttered curses and swung his sword around, nothing happened. So you wonder, because remember the kids were causing Blightfall and like whatever, so you wonder if someone, or again, maybe he's a little like Tanichibo, somebody's puppeteering him and like, you know, Because also he's a form folk. Enough. Yeah! After exchanging blows for a short while, Kuga knocked Hanzo's blade out of his hands.
Now do you feel like calming down a bit and listening to what I have to say?
Damn it! When Hanzo realized his sword had landed out of reach, his face contorted in frustration beneath his mask. Although he was still spewing an impressive amount of black threads, he had no means of attacking.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. I'm Genjiro Kuga, not the Gengoemon Akahore you're seeking revenge on.
But I know what he looks like, and... Then are you saying you've met Kuga before? Why do you absolutely insist he's this Akahore person you speak of? I've never met him myself, but he matches the description of him perfectly.
Japanese? Because that's not really helping you here.
I mean, in this world, like, everybody's got different hair color and stuff like that, but it's still kind of funny when you're like, the description matches perfectly. He's got dark hair and, like, dark eyes, and he looks Japanese. I mean, at least, that's gotta be kind of hard. I'm just saying, if you're going around and, like, it'd be kind of like you're looking for, like you're going around, at least if you're in Europe, you're like, I don't know, he's got, like, red hair and a beard. There's less people like that, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, just... It's like, what, do you have a drawing? Because even then, you're like, even if you were talking about, like, face shape or nose shape or something, you know what I mean? Like, hair color, eye color, height are usually, like, the best descriptors. Like, a really tall person with, long dark hair or short curly hair. So, you know what I mean? But if everybody's got kind of dark hair, it's kind of hard. You can't be like, he's blonde. That would stand out, But, like, and hairstyle, you can't be like, oh, he's got his hair in a ponytail, because, like, he could change his hair. You don't know that he's always wearing that. Plus, wasn't that the style, too? Like, at the time, like, top knots were kind of like a thing. So, like, and he's a samurai. That's going to describe a lot of people. I'm just, without a picture or a drawing, I'm just kind of like, how does he match your description, Again, in this world, everybody looks different, you know what I mean? There's different hair lengths and colors and stuff like that, but... Meaning Kuga just happens to look like whoever he's trying to get revenge on? And again, like, obviously, like, there's a range of like hair color in Japan too, but it's not like red hair, blonde hair. You're not, you know what I mean? You're not like he's got curly blonde hair. Like you've got like and your descriptions back in the day before you had pictures, were you going to get the exact shade of like brown or black? You know what I mean? Like if you have darker hair, like I say, I have dark brown hair. It's almost black. But like you could fill like 30 people that fit that description that have the same, and they're all going to have slightly different shades of hair. You know what I mean? So like, you match his description and I'm going to guess like you're not going on clothes or like whatever. So it's like, I don't know what kind of descriptions you're going on. It's just kind of funny. So, if so, how inconvenient was that, right? Well, I mean, also, again, we don't know what his description is. Even the vehement Hanzo must have been feeling a bit worried at this point. He was hanging his head in complete silence. The black threads had settled down, too. Did it work? When I glanced over at Kuga, he nodded like he sensed what I was thinking. Okay, then. Now to use the Shadow Sacrament. Hanzo, you're so consumed by your desire for revenge that you're no longer a mere form folk. What? If this continues, you might cause harm to somebody beside your target. Is that what you want? I quietly held out my hand as I addressed Hanzo, hoping to help him to understand what was going on. If I touched his body and prayed for his blightfall-afflicted heart to return to normal, the snow sacrament was bound to work just like it had on Mitsu. Hanzo had been acting like a good boy, but then he reached for his hip. By the time I realized what was happening, it was already too late. Later! By the time I pulled my concealed knife out, Hanzo had already dashed toward the main street. Shoot! He was just acting so he could make his escape! Kuga, Man, he's quick! Kuga took off after Hanzo before I could finish apologizing. I guess I should hurry after him, too. Are these little balls of pubic hair? That's what they look like. The black threads he shed are leaving a trail like footprints. Ah! He's shedding his threads. If I follow them, I might be able to keep Hanzo from slipping away, even though I wasn't as quick as Kuga. Fun times. I was going to say, if we resolve this, then I would think that then Hanzo isn't our main antagonist. But I'm thinking that, like, he is. Although, I guess he's not really a Chie character, because Chie wasn't the antagonist. It was her son, by way of the kidnapping god. But, you know what I mean? She was a main component in Tojo's story. So, Hanzo is the main component character. Because there's always, like, a random component character that has a sprite. So, this is Hanzo. So, but anyway, we're gonna have to go find and track down our sassy lost child, and we're gonna have to teach that Kuga, we have got to raise our son better. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.